Hi everyone, Omid from CoLab here, and welcome to the first video in our series on HTML and CSS. In this video, we'll be going over just some of the very basics of HTML syntax and how to create a basic HTML file. So first, let's talk a little bit about what HTML is. So HTML is the basic language that powers all web pages. It doesn't handle things like making them making them look pretty, making them look interactive, or a lot of that extra stuff. It just does the basics of getting your content down onto the page. So when you just see like a raw text or like a raw image on the page, that's HTML. Now, other stuff that we'll be discussing in future videos like CSS or JavaScript, again, makes that stuff look pretty, is in charge of like changing sizing, making stuff dynamic, maybe like an animation as you scroll. All that stuff is not HTML. We're just discussing getting the basics of content onto a web page. So let's go ahead and get started here. So HTML is really just a text file with the .html extension on it. So to create your first HTML file, we're actually just going to go ahead and navigate to the folder that you want to be working inside of in VS Code or whatever IDE for that matter. And then you're just going to want to click on New File. So for this code, I'll be working inside of the Part 1 folder, inside of the HTML-CSS folder for the code that has been uploaded onto GitHub for these bootcamps if you would like to follow along after and kind of compare your code with mine, or in case you aren't able to code along for whatever reason. But we're just going to create a new file like I already have right here called hello2.html. It's literally just .html with a regular text file. Now, before we sort of explain the basics, I'm just going to get some code written out, and then we can kind of walk through it together. So the first thing that we want to do right here is just write this line doctype HTML. Now, this one kind of goes against the rest of the syntax in HTML. It's a little bit different, a little bit weird. This is just simply saying that we want to create an HTML file. Now then from there, we are going to create an open HTML tag and a closed HTML tag to say, hey, this is all of our HTML code. We're going to do some stuff with this thing called the head. We're going to do some stuff right below that with a thing called a body. Looks a little bit weird, but this actually right here is the structure for a general HTML file. Pretty much every single one will follow this basic structure right here. This is the general layout that you see. Okay, now the reason why it looks like this is because HTML is a markup language. So it's not a technical, like regular programming language like Python or C++, although it is essentially still a programming language, but it's a markup language, which is why you might hear a lot of people say, oh, HTML isn't a real programming language. That's why, but it is. It's a markup language. And it uses tags to encapsulate information. Now, I'll link below this a list of every single tag that HTML offers support for, but no need to memorize them. But essentially what a tag is it's a keyword, like this word right here, head, whatever that means, we don't need to know for right now, encapsulated between a left and a right little sign like that. So like the less than, greater than, basically like that. You have an opening one and then you have a closing one, which looks exactly like the opening one, except it has a slash right before the keyword to say, hey, this is the closing tag. So now everything inside of these two tags will be the tag's content, and everything outside of them will not belong to them and they'll have no knowledge of it. Now, this actual tag right here, so like we refer to this as like the head tag, for example. Again, what it means, not important right now. We refer to this as an HTML element. So you'll hear me use that term a lot. That's what an HTML element is. Now, all that we need to do in order to actually get this page to display is save it and then go to wherever it is that you're storing this file and double click on it and it will open up inside of Chrome. So mine's right here. Of course, it will be an empty web page right now, but if you hadn't created this file, you just get like an error saying that like Chrome like can't find the path to that file. So you at least now know that you've created the file and that you have your HTML web page code done and correct here. Now to do some other quick things to kind of get some content to show up on the page and show you guys some of the very, very basics, we can actually do something called a title tag. So right up here in the head, we can do this title. Again, don't need to know or worry kind of like too much about like how this stuff works, but I can actually put my name right there, and that will actually make it so that when I refresh, now my name is up here in the tab bar. Okay, so that's what the title is. And then inside of my body right here, whatever that means, who cares? I'm just going to do this thing called a p tag. So again, open and then close, and I'm just going to say hello world. And now I'm just going to save that and then refresh, and now it says hello world up on my web page. Perfect, just like that, very easy. Now again, something else that I do want to quickly mention as an aside is that not all tags will look like this. So this p tag, this p HTML element right here, again, opening tag on the left here, closing tag with this slash on the right here, and then my text inside of it right here. This text, again, is the content that actually belongs to my HTML element, which is the p tag here in this case. Not all of the HTML tags will look like this. Some of them are self-closing. And so what I mean by that is that, say, for example, here on line 2, this is not an example of a self-closing tag. HTML is not a self-closing tag. But if it were, what I could do is I could just simply have it be the less than, the keyword, a space, then a slash, and then the greater than sign. And that is a self-closing tag, because self-closing tags do not take content inside of them. Now, obviously, HTML is not a self-closing tag, but that's essentially how it works. Now, again, what actually HTML, head, body, all that stuff means, I'll be covering in the next video, so watch on if you're interested in learning about that. But that's just the general basics, that there are these concepts of tags that represent HTML elements. Some of them are self-closing because they won't have content like words inside of them, but that is the general idea. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you.